Hello, welcome to today's upload. Today we're going to have a look through the AQA GCSE English Language Paper 1. We're going to look at what are the questions, what will I be handed out when I sit in the exam, what am I expected to do. So you will get two handouts. One handout will be the insert and one handout will be the answer booklet. So the insert, first of all, the insert is the source. The source is the extract that we have to read. So if we look at the most recent AQA exam paper, so AQA GCSE English Language Paper 1, Explorations in Creative Reading and Writing, the insert is the source that follows is, and it gives us a little bit of information. It's worth just reading it and taking it in and understanding what is a little bit of the context of the insert. And then the source there. Usually it's a page, 2 pages. So this insert, as I'm scrolling through, it is 2 pages of text. The box at the top underneath source A here gives us a little bit about information of what we're reading. So we need to read that and so we understand what the story is telling us. So this is insert and the source, the text that we have to study. Secondly, what we receive is the actual paper where we write our answers on. So at the top we must fill in block capital letters. It's important we use black pen, ballpoint pen, black ink. Okay. The centre number is your school, your academy, your college's number. It should be handed to you, or if you look in front of you on the wall in front of you, no doubt it will have the centre number wrote down to help you out. Your form tutor, your teacher, your lecturer will make sure you know the centre number, and it's usually good practice. It's displayed. You can find this out by asking the relevant people and teachers at your school. The candidate number is your exam number, your candidate number. It's the same number for every exam, be it history, geography, science, maths, English. Your candidate number is the same number. It is your specific GCSE number. So you will be handed this. Make sure that you know it, have it wrote down. As you usually go into an exam hall or wherever the exam is, there's usually on the wall next to the door big sign with all the names and candidate numbers to help you out, just in case you forget. And we must fill that in. That's important, so that the work that you do, the correct marks go to the correct candidate. Surname, forenames, candidate signature. It's quite obvious. Then we have some instructions. Try and answer all the questions. Use black ink, black ballpoint pen. Fill in the boxes. Do not write outside the boxes. We have a quick look at question 1. You can see outside the box here where it says 4. That's for the examiner to write down the mark he gives you. There's barcodes there and scan numbers. So write inside the box only. You must refer to the insert booklet provided, which is what we just talked about. Information. 40 marks for section A and 40 marks for section B. It's a total of 80 marks. Section A is the reading. It's based on the insert, the story that you were given. So we answer 4 questions on section A, and then when we come to section B, it's your turn to do the creative writing. Section A, reading, answer questions on the text that we've read. Section B, we actually write. So in section A, first question. Read again the first part of the source from lines 1 to 9. List 4 things about this jungle from this part of the source. Now what I would do is, at the very beginning of the exam, we have 15 minutes to read through the question paper and read through the source. It's an advised 15 minutes. You could do it in 5 minutes if you wanted. But what I would do is, I would highlight lines 1 to 9. Then I would highlight lines 16 to 29. So you can see it's already bold and highlighted in the exam paper, but I would just emphasize that the whole of the source. And then importantly, because I've seen mistakes on question 4 before, lines 31 to the end. Pupils write about the source, whether they agree with this question. We'll come to this question in a moment, but make sure we highlight what lines we have to answer the text on. It's good practice and it just keeps it right for us. Prior preparation prevents poor performance, as they say. So question 1. We're listing 4 things in the jungle. Quite a simple question. It's a warm-up question to settle nerves and just let's get ready, let's get started for this exam. All we are doing is we are taking quotes directly from the source, from, in this case, lines 1 to 9, and putting them in. Now, you can put more than 4. if you put 5 points in and one of the points is wrong, you will get 4 marks out of 4. If you put 5 marks in and all 5 are right, you still only get 4 out of 4. So you might say, well, what's the point of putting 5? Just in case you get one wrong. You're just covering yourself. So I would always recommend to do more. What you can't do, you can't just copy at the beginning of 1 here. You kind of just copy out directly lines 1 all the way down to lines 9. Just copy out all of lines 1 to 9. That's 0 marks. You kind of just copy it all out. But it's not asking for your inference, or what it suggests to you is just directly list 4 things about the jungle. So we'll do one. We'll do a quick one. So if we go to the insert, lines 1 to 9, so this is this bit here. List 4 things from the jungle. The jungle was high and the jungle was broad. Well, there's 2 things. The jungle was high and the jungle was broad. You could put both them down in one line and you might get 2 ticks, 2 marks for that. So it's just simple. Take a quote, copy it, and write it down there. That's as simple as it is for question 1. Okay, question 2 gets a little bit more difficult. Now, the brilliant thing about AQA, what I really love about it, is we know what the questions are going to be. We know we're going to get 5 questions in paper 1 and 5 questions in paper 2. And we know question 1 will be in paper 1, what we just looked at there, list 4 points. Question 2, how does the writer use language to describe? We will be in lines 16 to 26, or whatever relevant lines it is in the exam. They will put them in a box there, which makes it really good and easy for us, because as we read through it, it came on great, oil, resilient. We read through it, a great evil God. Oh, straight away I'm going to highlight that. So I've got my highlighter. Remember in your exam pack, pens, pencils, highlighter, rulers. Highlight great evil God. Why? Because that's a metaphor and I like that, and something I can write about. So I would highlight maybe 3 or 4 quotes. Great breathing cage. We've got lots of adjectives, lots of adverbs, lots of metaphors in this section. So this is a really nice section to practice on. This is the 2018 November paper. You can Google this and find it on the AQA website. Have a look at them and practice on them. For information on how to answer these questions, the language, the structure, please go to my channel. I have uploads specifically on each question, analysing how we answer the questions, formulas and structures to answer the question. So this question is language. It's worth 8 marks. And in the exam, it always gives you, what AQA also do is, you could include. So we get some coulds and suggestions and bullet points. Now what I like about this is, if you sit in the exam and you freeze and you can't remember your formula of how to answer a language question, AQA give us some bullet points. So you could include talking about words and phrases, language features and techniques, sentence forms. So the 3 bullet points here are really nice help and reminder of how to answer it. So again, read through the extract, highlight any sections that you think, any adjectives. It had pebbled skin there. So just highlight a few of them just to help us, so when we're answering we can go straight to the highlights and make comments. Okay, that's question 2, the language question. Question 3. Now there's a lot of pages here and this can be quite off-putting. I would recommend we try to aim for 3 paragraphs on each one. 2 to 3 paragraphs. If you can do more, great. If you do less, well, you do what you can do. But I would be aiming for at least 2 paragraphs, hopefully more. Question 3. It's a structure question. Again, look for my uploads, how to answer a structure question. And it explains there exactly formulas and techniques and what we need to use in this question. It's an 8-mark question. Again, you could write about, and we have the bullet points. What the writer focuses our attention on. When the changes in focus happen. Any of the structural features. Structural features, again, look at my uploads, but things like flashbacks. Is there a flashback in it? That is the structure question. 8 marks again. So we've got a 4 mark, 8 mark and an 8 mark. Now question 4. In section A, it's the highest marked question. It's 20 marks. And it asks us, well, it tells us a student said. And we usually get a student's opinion. So in this case, Eccles has a right to panic and the Munster is terrifying. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So it's an agree or disagree question. We are given a quote an opinion from us, usually a student, and ask do we agree or disagree. Now it's 20 marks, so we're going to write a little bit more than what we did in question 2 and 3. But what we've got to think of is question 2 and question 3, language and structure. So why do you agree or disagree? You agree or disagree because of the writer's use of language to explain. You agree or disagree because of the structure, the way it's set out. And we've got your opinions and inferences. So I would start question 4 with, I agree with the student that, and your point, so in this case, I agree with the student that Eccles has a right to panic and the monster is terrifying. For example, in lines 33, the writer uses the metaphor. Now I don't know if he does use a metaphor in line 33, I'm just making this up, but it has to be, remember we highlighted from lines 31 to the end. I've marked some fantastic mock papers in the past and exam papers, and pupils have talked about, they've given really nice responses, but they're not talking from lines, the specific lines outlined in the question. So we can use language and structure for question 4. And then section B. Now section B, we get 2 choices. So we are given a picture and we're asked to either write a story or write a description. In some papers I've seen it says write a story or write a story, write description or description. So we know there's going to be at least 2 choices, a story or a description. Best thing to do for this paper is practice, practice, practice. We know the examiners are looking for our ambitious vocabulary, the different types of sentence types that we use, how we use our paragraphs, does the story flow. We're not going to go through all the assessment objectives, but you are expected to write a story or a description. It's 40 marks, so you have the same amount of marks as question 1, 2, 3, 4 combined. Question 5 is the same, it's 50% of the exam. So we need to write in detail. For question 5, the best advice is to practice your stories. I think we can categorize a story, be about a character, a journey, or a place. Character, journey, place. So if you're going to practice your story writings, practice your paragraphs, look at my uploads on what needs to be included in paragraphs and in question 5 for our creative writing, and the 3 categories: character, journey, place. And what you will find is the more paragraphs you practice writing, you'll start using the same vocabulary. You'll start having certain sentences and certain phrases that you love and enjoy to use. Use them in the paper. And that is the GCSE AQA English Language Paper 1.